This is the AdHero Podcast, the podcast that reveals marketing tips, trends, and techniques by industry experts, insiders, and influencers. For years, AdSymble has helped businesses develop and launch campaigns to amplify their message, establish authority, and earn their lion's share of the market. This podcast will help you design and supercharge your plan to make an impact with valuable lessons you can apply in your business today. To get more information or start now, visit adsymbol.com. That's ADSEMBLE.com. Let's get started.
Welcome to the AdHero Podcast.
Wait a minute. Let's try that again.
Yeah, come correct.
Let's try that Rasta horn one more time. My bad. We'll go back and post. Yeah, we'll go back and post and edit that out.
I used to do MC Rasta voices decently.
Okay.
Not perfectly, but decently.
All right. Hey, if any of our listening audience has a really good hot lead on an actual sound box with some buttons we can just press to activate stuff, you heard about something like that.
I did.
Right?
There's like some apps now that you can do it.
Oh,
yeah.
is it? Well, that's what
It's
we're
like
using right here. Is
hotkeys.
we're using an app.
Yeah, so it's basically like the same thing, but just
Yeah.
like looking sleeker.
Okay.
Because they want us to spend more money.
Okay.
Oh,
Kick us off, man.
Okay, welcome here on adsymbol.com. My name is Gino Giovanni.
And I'm Matthew Livieri. We are your personal ad heroes, back for another episode of the AdHero Podcast. This is episode 43, drop it on your dial, and we're calling this one Hawaii's Digital Transformation.
Oh, yes. And on today's show, we are talking about the digital renaissance taking place on the islands of Hawaii. And with us to tell us more about it is Jean-Paul Gedeon of JPG Media, who is based in Hawaii to tell us more about the digital transformation, including digital signage and tech advancements.
And, and the reason why we wanted to have Jean-Paul on, you gotta say it like that, is because we really feel that there's a lot of exciting things happening out there on the islands, and what better way than to have someone who's based out there, who runs a media company, media organization, kind of come on the show and talk about the advancements taking place. It's not just all palm trees and coconuts, folks. There's some exciting stuff happening. So,
And beautiful women, by the way.
very well. You got a lot of nice beaches. You got a lot of nice sunshine. Why not, right?
Nice food, too.
Yeah, very good food. And I think Jean-Paul can maybe also dispel some stereotypical things too, right? Like, you're not always going to a luau every single day, right? This is what I'm talking about. Dude. This is why I want Jean-Paul, like he's gonna dispel all that stuff for us. It's gonna be a good show. So before we get into that though, we're gonna jump right into the A block. Gino, what do we got going on in the A block? Let's jump right in.
A block. All right. We've been talking about this for a year or so.
Yep.
Justice League, comic book movies, Avengers, all this kinds of stuff, right? Finally, after so many rumors, after so many updates,
Yep.
there was, and now is officially, the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League.
The only thing that you got to get over, it's 4.5 hours long.
Yes, but you know what though? And granted, I fell asleep a few times.
Right.
I was tired, but it's damn good.
All right, so for anyone that's just jumping into the first episode of the AdHero Podcast with us here, we like to touch upon Marvel Universe, DC Universe, big huge comic book fans over here. That's why we call our show the AdHero Podcast, kind of a play off of that. And so we've been counting down the days until the Snyder Cut got released, because it's so much better than the original one. So Justice League is on the DC side of the comic book universe, and when this movie first came out, Snyder was supposed to direct it. His daughter tragically died, I believe, of suicide, really tragically.
Well, he did direct a lot of it.
Yeah, he directed like 50% of it or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
Then they brought in Josh Whedon, who directed Marvel Avengers and
Avengers 2, Vampire Slayer,
Age of Ultron, and stuff like that. And it just fell apart. Like, what the finished product, like where that new guy kind of took that film, was just a completely different direction. And when it came out, the fans were really outraged at the way that he chose to finish off So all along, there's been this like Twitter uprising of like hardcore fans going, we want Zack Snyder to come back and finish directing this movie the way he had the original vision for it.
Hashtag release the Snyder Cut.
That's right, and that gained a lot of popularity, and so he finally did come back, and he finally did finish filming. They had to obviously, a lot of the actors are, they've aged now. It's been several years, blah blah blah.
But you can't really tell in the film.
You can't. He had to use some really creative tech strategies, when you're filming and stuff like that, like digital strategies to like kind of stitch together old scenes or whatever. But anyways, I'm like halfway through it actually, right myself right now, because like you, I fell asleep on the second half, so I need to go back and watch the second halp. But
this is our Deer Hunter.
Awesome. yeah. This is this generation's Deer Hunter. That's funny.
But
it's good. It is fantastic, and the fans seem to be loving every minute.
Yeah, it's got high scores on Rotten Tomatoes, both the fan side or the audience side and the critic side.
Yep.
I think last I checked, it was like a 78 on the critics, the tomato side, I think that is, and then super high on the audience side. Yeah, fans didn't like in the original version that Henry Cavill, you could see his mustache. I really couldn't see it, but he was contractually obligated to keep that, because he was filming Mission Impossible 3, I believe. Yeah, he had to keep all the facial hair, and they digitally removed it. But I swear, the movie, this version, I liked Justice League when I first saw it, and then I saw it a couple of more times, and I was like, dude, this is horrible.
Yeah.
What was I thinking? But what this version does that the previous version does not do is that it sets up characters that were just thrown in before. Because you notice, go back to the Avengers, and each of the characters either had their own movie or they were in other people's movies. We knew of these characters before.
Right.
Now in this version, we get to see Cyborg and backstory behind him,
right,
along with the Flash, which is not called the Flash, Barry Allen. We get to see a little backstory of him. We even get to see kind of more of a story and what his motivation is when it comes to Steppenwolf. And then finally, Darkseid is in there. We get to finally see a Darkseid, which before we kind of were hinted at Darkseid. There's just more detail, almost too much detail. There were a couple of things in there that I wish that were left in, that were in the previous version.
Give us one.
For example, when actually I think there's really three, but there was the time when Superman comes back to life, and a lot of the scene is still the same, but what they didn't keep this time was when Batman confronts Superman, and then Superman grabs him by the throat or the face and lifts him up and says, "I remember you. Do you bleed?" Which is the line that was previously used from Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. That little part right there is not in there. It's completely different. Steppenwolf got an upgrade, CGI. He looks meaner, bigger, badder than ever. The ending is completely different. I'm not going to tell you what the ending is.
Yeah, let's not spoil it for anyone who's got there yet.
And there's just more backstory. You like that one scene, and you were telling me about that one scene in the trailer with the football.
Yeah. Yep.
And
that's part of Cyborg's backstory.
Right, and that's in there. And I was looking at that, and I was like, oh, here's that scene. Now let's see if I can get emotionally attached to this.
Right.
And I kind of a little bit did this time.
Right.
It was amazing how that trailer brought out so much emotion in so many people. But when you see it in the movie, it's a little bit longer, but it's like, wow. I guess if you kind of relate it to COVID, then it's kind of people playing outside. When was the last time you played outside?
A long time.
I said
so. Big deal. Excited it's released. Go check that out. Let's switch gears and jump into something we had previously talked about on another episode, which was all these different streaming services using the symbol plus in their name. And we had mused about whether or not we felt that this was a good thing or a bad thing, right? And so you have, just in no particular order, you have Disney Plus, you have Discovery Plus, you have ESPN Plus, you have, I don't know, Gina, help me out. What other pluses are there? There's a lot. Paramount Plus.
Yeah, there's Paramount Plus. Apple Plus.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting article in the New York Times asking the question, or rather making a statement, that's actually like a trend that is going to be a disaster for these brands down the road, right? So the only two that veered away from that, HBO Max. HBO Max is one of them, and the other one is the NBC Peacock Network.
Which is an interesting name, but...
The Peacock Network. Well, their logo is the peacock.
That's right. No,
right. Right. So they decided to have their own brand for their streaming service, right? HBO Max Peacock. Having read this article now, that's really interesting because it makes more sense, right? If everyone's just gonna, it's kind of like going back to the Apple days where everything was an iPhone, iPad, iMac.
Yes.
Then all these other brands came out with things like iCamera. You know, everything had like a little eye in front of it.
Or they started using
Right.
Not just YouTube.
We used to, I mean, look, few people don't know this, but we used to be called iAdSimble. No, I'm just joking.
Oh, God, I was like, did we?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a really quick fun fact. There's no I in team now.
But there is a me if you spell it backwards.
My mom, last night, I'm showing her HBO Max because she wants to watch the Warriors series. Which I've never heard of. Still, it's really good.
All right.
So she was like, well, is there going to be one for Cinemax? And I'm like, well, I don't think so. Like, I haven't heard anything. And she's like, well, is that what the Max means with HBO Max? And I'm like, I never thought of it that way. Because aren't HBO and Cinemax like kind of like together? They're kind of like the same company in a way. I think they are.
Yeah.
And according to, but yeah, and I thought it was just another name for like Plus. Like, okay, we're gonna take it to the max. But I was like, well, wait a minute now, maybe that
could be
does
right.
mean Cinemax. I'm like, holy. Yeah.
You could be right on that. I don't know. So again, it's like you have all these different groups. They weren't really original when they came up with these names. And according to this particular author of this article, she feels it's a bad. I mean, we all work in marketing and branding and advertising. She feels it's a really bad branding move for that everybody's called Plus, with the exception of HBO Max and Peacock.
Yeah, I thought only a few companies were doing it. Now like everybody's doing
it. ESPN Plus is another one.
Yeah.
There's also ESPN.
And there's Hulu Plus.
No, they got rid of Hulu Plus.
Oh, they
now.
did get Hulu.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Hulu Plus is now just Hulu.
Jeez.
Yeah, they got rid of it. So, really fascinating stuff there. What do you guys think about that? If you guys have an opinion, do you like the Plus? Do you not like the Plus? Drop us a line on any of our social media platforms where you listen to this. If you leave us a voicemail on Anchor, the podcast platform, we will read your answer on air. That's right. You'll be insta-famous.
Or they can leave a voicemail on the Anchor app as well.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Very cool. Let us know what you guys think, because we're curious to get your feedback. That's it for the A block. We got a lot to discuss with Mr. Jean-Paul here. Let's take it to the B block. All right, so we're rapping with Jean-Paul, literally rapping, because he, in another life, this guy's a hip hop machine. We might actually, we might have to do like a little Easter egg here, and have you do like some battle verses, man. When you're running the T-shirt business as like a upstart hustler, you straight up got a cease and desist for selling these T-shirts that you I imagine you didn't have the licensing rights for, or whatever, right? From eBay and everything else. But then that same company that sent you a cease and desist eventually became a client. That is badass, dude. Like, what did that feel like the day that they started sending you a check as a client? And you're like, these MFs sent me a cease and desist letter like 10 years earlier.
Number ones in the nation, which are in Hawaii, what people may not know.
Okay. Wait, like later on, or you want to just jump into that right now?
Well, I could jump in right now. You want to jump in right now?
Let's jump in right now. Let's go for it.
Give me that Rasta horn.
Okay. All right, hold on. Let me get that out.
Number ones.
Okay, here we go.
All right, back on the number ones of Hawaii. What do we've got here? We have the number one revenue H&R Block, the number one revenue Safeway, the number one revenue Costco, the number one revenue Cheesecake Factory, the number one revenue California Pizza Kitchen.
No way.
Amongst others. Straight up. Google it.
Wow.
Huh.
Wow. Give it up.
Woo! And we are the only state with all branches of military.
Oh, interesting.
We are. We're basically we're like a stationary aircraft carrier. We're the connection between East and West. If you look on the map, we're the most isolated piece of land, and it's such a strategic point in the world. That is one of the reasons Hawaii is so special.
And what's the current population of Hawaii? Do you know off the top of your head?
About 1.5 million, and there's about 1 million on Oahu alone. And then the rest is scattered through the other islands.
Okay. All right. So where would you say what island has the most amount of like tech companies and infrastructure and kind of all that happening? Where you're at, or is it on the main island?
Honolulu.
Oh,
Oahu,
wow.
Honolulu.
Where you're at. Okay. Interesting.
That's where I'm at, man.
Interesting. Okay. How about in terms of, I know you mentioned like a lot of your products right now, or most of your products are static outdoor advertising products, but you're looking to do a conversion to some digital stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Tell our listening audience in terms of high-speed internet. I mean, are they rolling out like fiber optic internet out there? Or like what's kind of the deal on that as you go from island to island? Like, can you be there and easily, without any technical hiccups, control a network of digital screens and gas stations on another island, something like that? Would that be really easy to do, or is there any kind of what's up with all that?
Yeah, we got fiber internet, man. We got fiber. We got 1 gig down or 2 gigs down,
Okay.
1 gig up. Like, we got high speed internet. You know, we have Spectrum here. You guys have Spectrum. You know,
Yeah,
that
Spectrum.
here.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
scattered, but yeah, it's there.
Yeah, and we have something called Hawaii Telecom. It's the competitor. They got the same thing. We got very fast internet. Yeah, there's no problem going from island to island or controlling things here, talking with people in Chicago, New York, Lebanon. Like, we're connected. That's a misconception. Cool. We're super connected here.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, and like I said, forgive me. Maybe I'm the only knucklehead that maybe has these kind of thoughts, but
no, don't worry. It's a good job of branding, man.
No, I just have one really quick question because we got to get into the C block real quick. With all the big name brands that you've mentioned, is there still on the islands a kind of I don't know how to say it. I guess like a disagreement from like the islanders who don't want the big name products and the big companies there, to like the ones who are like, okay, look, we're Americanized. This is the way of life.
I think you're talking about like gentrification, something like that.
Not that. I just remember this in the 90s where like there were some islanders. I don't know like if it was a lot or a little, but they didn't want to be so Americanized. But then I've heard of people who live there and are from there. They're just like, well, if all the American companies left, there wouldn't be too much going on.
Okay, all right. So what would your take be on that? I mean, do the people that live there like really want to hold on to those authentic Hawaiian values of, being more, for lack of a better term, beach bums, like chilling out, more relaxing, versus having corporate Starbucks and all this
like
stuff,
living off the island, if you will.
Yeah. What would you say to that?
That's a huge misconception, because we have Starbucks. People love Starbucks every single day. Like straight up, Starbucks is everywhere. Jamba Juice. We got McDonald's. We got everything that is on like the mainland. We have like one Carl's Jr. But other than that, it's like Taco Bell, McDonald's, Burger King, Domino's, Pizza, Papa John's. We got it all.
Do you all still have the Wiki Mart? I remember that was huge last time I was there. It's like a 7-Eleven. No,
okay. Unfortunately.
Right. Never mind.
They've been converted to 7-Elevens. No, so yeah, I mean, to answer your question, do people want to stay the same? It's really a balance, In any community, you want to have those mom and pop shops, which are like the legacy, the lifeblood of the community. You want those. Wow. And then, of course, you've got big brands that come in and like, a Walmart, buy a whole block. A lot of guys go out of business. And that's super unfortunate. It is in any community that happens. So it's really having that balance of authenticity without being too cookie cutter and big box, right?
Yep.
But we have the big box. we love the big box because everyone who lives here, we're not only from here, we're a melting pot. People all over the world come live here.
Wow.
There's a lot of people coming here now in tech. A lot of the Google people, a lot of Amazon just opened a huge distribution center. $124 million they bought right at the port. Massive.
Wow.
So yeah, we're totally up to date, but there's a lot of challenges in Hawaii. It's probably one of the worst places to do business, to have a company, because we just tax all kind of taxes.
Really?
I know, because I pay all those taxes.
Wow. Higher than California, higher than New York.
Well, Cali and New York, I can't speak on them, but we're right up there with one of the most challenging places to operate a business legally.
Wow. And is that because you have the council members and stuff like that want to, like, if you came for a proposal about building something new or something like that, there's always environmental impact studies, and they want to preserve the, you know, the trees and the beachfronts and all this stuff. Like, they don't want to have too much industrial stuff taking place over there. Is that part of that reason why too, maybe?
Well, you got to take the steps. So for like the EPA, you got to do that. And there's a lot of burials here, a lot of burial grounds are like sacred places, which, you know, are really preserved. And that's important. It really is. It's super tough. Like anywhere you dig, you're going to like find like either bones or like petroglyphs or something. Wow. I mean, I'm kind of over exaggerating, but there's a lot of work that goes into the environmental impact studies. But this, I mean, Hawaii is very pro building. You should see like Howard Hughes Corporation has building luxury towers, like over 24 towers coming up in a place called Kaka'ako, directly in Honolulu. And you're getting nothing under $1 million, like 3.5 million, maybe you get $1 million. Wow. Depends what you call affordable housing. They got to have like 15% of it workforce housing. But our poverty level is like, if you're making $90,000 a year, you're considered low income. So like the bar has been raised, right? Like the bar.
Oh, that's a mic drop right there.
Yeah, like
I didn't know that.
No, not at all.
You didn't know that. A lot of people don't know that, but it's huge. There's a lot of deals going down. A lot of commercial real estate, but a lot of luxury, maybe overpopulation, overbuilding of luxury real estate. Most of it overlooking the water of Honolulu.
Oh, so like high end, or are you talking like hotels?
No, high end.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, so we have the hotels already. That's done. They're like renovating hotels. A big trend that you're going to see now, it's happened. Some of our friends and clients is taking old hotels in Waikiki, which everything has been like the Hyatt, the Hilton, so beautiful. Oh my goodness. But they're taking off the strip, like the main strip of Kalakaua. That's the main strip you see like in movies, off the beach into like kind of not even so luxurious, taking old hotels, refurbishing them as vintage Hawaii hotels and making them cool for like millennials and anyone who wants to be that. So it's like Instagrammable moments, and it's not full Hawaiiana.
Wow.
And they're taking hotels, you know, you buy them for a few $1 million, renovate them, brand them so beautiful, get influencers there, and then you flip it for like double your money.
Huh.
We're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I know the guys who personally did it, and I know the branding companies who personally branded it.
Like, is JPG Media part of that? Are you guys involved? Are you helping out?
So we help out in little ways.
You get a piece of that action?
I'm getting some of like the crumbs of that action. And I know the guys who get the meat of the action. I know the people who got the bones of the action. Some get the sauce. I get some leftover crumbs.
All right.
But that's just the industry we're in.
I just got two quick things. Now we're a few minutes over here. Our executive producer, Gino's like, oh, we got to, but it's okay because I'm loving this conversation.
Yeah, it's a good conversation.
So how long does it take someone who just, like if I was just moved there, how long would it take me to get acclimated to Hawaiian culture, even pronouncing the names right? Because most people just say Hawaii, but it's actually, if I'm understanding correctly, it's Hawaii. There's like an apostrophe there, right?
Wait, how'd you say again?
Hawaii.
No. How did you say it?
Well, if you don't know any better, you just go, I'm going to Hawaii.
Oh, right.
But you're supposed to say it with a little pause because there's actually
like Hawaii.
Yes, correct.
Okay. How long? Like I said earlier,
you guys are both wrong.
Oh, we're both see that?
You're both horribly wrong.
Look,
like so that
apostrophe.
That's called an okina. It looks like a backwards comma flipped. Right. It's not Hawaii. That W is actually a V sound. It's Hawaii.
See?
See,
look at that.
But a lot of people who live here,
we're dropping
we
knowledge
say Hawaii.
right here on the AdHero podcast.
Right. We say Hawaii. I mean, local people live here. My friends, Hawaiians, native Hawaiians, deep genealogy, they'll call it Hawaii. But really, if you want to be accurate, it's Hawaii.
And okay, so how long does it take for the regular person to like get start saying things the right way and understanding all that? Would you say?
Sometimes never. Other times, you want to come be respectful. All we ask, like seriously, all local people in Hawaii ask for, just be respectful of the culture. And you could try and learn the names, and that's great. Learn about the culture. We love that. But we're not gonna like, if you try too hard, like to be like Mr. Aloha or Mrs. Aloha, it comes off kind of like inauthentic, right?
Right.
Just be yourself, man. If you don't pronounce it correct, I mean, just try pronounce it correct. But you're not gonna be hated on. Like we love visitors. We love people here as long as they respect the culture. That's what kind of a misconception of Hawaii. Some people think we don't like tourists. Some people think that. It's not. It's like people are people. Just be respectful of people.
Right.
That's like people who try to speak over like Spanish. It's like they like try too hard. So that's basically what he's saying.
I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It sounds like inauthentic. It's like
Right.
almost like it makes like a joke, or it's not.
It's almost
right?
offensive.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's how it comes about. But it's not even like that. Hawaii is the nicest people I've ever met in the world. But also in Silicon Valley, nice people I met in the world. Japan, Australia, everyone is nice if you find nice people. Right. And then if you find people who are not nice, look, they're everywhere too.
Kick a-holes to the curb. So the takeaway here is Hawaii is every bit equipped and ready to participate in anything happening in any part of the rest of the world. And they have the infrastructure, they have the high-speed internet. Things are coming online, as you mentioned. Corporate brands are building massive complexes there, so jobs are being created for the people there. People are moving there. Do you feel more people are going to be moving to Hawaii, like in the forthcoming years, as more of these businesses develop? Do you think it's going to be a result like in an influx of people wanting to buy housing and move there?
Yeah, we're already seeing that. It's crazy. You put a house on the market, like average price of a house, a family home, $910,000. Average price of a condo, you're upwards in like the $435,000, $500,000. And this is when you look at $1 million house. Go on Zillow. You look at $1 million house in Hawaii. It's going to get you a $200,000 house in Arizona.
Wow, fascinating.
But with our interest rates is like 2.5%. Now they're like 3%. Someone who could afford $900,000 can actually, for the same payment over 30 years, afford $1.2 million. It's the same money. You know what I mean? So you actually get a normal house in Hawaii.
And that has been your financial minute with Jean-Paul Gedeon.
That's it.
We'll turn that into like a little mini video clip. You describing mortgage rates, how that can work out.
I like that.
Okay.
The cost of living is high, man. How much you think a gallon of milk? Where's a gallon? How much is a gallon of milk where you are?
In San Jose?
I mean, I spend anywhere between $3.30 to maybe like $4.50.
Yeah, $3.30 to $4.50. What's it for you guys? What's it for
Honestly,
you guys?
I haven't bought milk in so long. I drink coconut milk, but and not because we're in Hawaii. It's like not even Hawaiian coconut milk. It's Vita Coco from Thailand. But I think milk is. I think it's like 10 or 12, $8 to $12. Like it's so expensive for milk. Rude awakening, man. Groceries are expensive. Cost of living is expensive. Property tax. We are so expensive to live here, and that is one hot take, misconception. When you move to Hawaii, you're not going to live on the beach. You can go to the beach, but it's pretty expensive to live here.
Wow. All right. The final thing I got for you is just on a personal note. What's the etymology of Jean-Paul Gedeon? What is your family background? I mean, are you decades family lived there, or because that's obviously like a French name, so I'm assuming there's some French there in the family tree, and then you guys landed in Hawaii. Like what's up?
All right, here's the real deal. The real deal.
Is that a stage name? Is that no? What's up?
Yo, he's the real deal. Bringing it hot right now.
Oh,
on
okay.
On the AdHero podcast. You heard it here first. Jean-Paul Gedeon. I am not French. My mom is Swedish and Danish.
Wow.
Blonde hair, bluish green eyes. From Utah. She grew up on a farm in Utah.
Interesting.
Farm, good Mormon family in Utah.
Interesting.
To Hawaii on a 2-week vacation. Didn't go back. Straight up. She came on a 2-week vacation, didn't go back. My dad, and this is where the kicker is. Look at me. Look at the white redhead guy, right? My dad, Beirut, Lebanon, 100% Lebanese, tall, dark and handsome, black hair.
Wow, cool.
They speak French and Arabic and English in Lebanon. Very linguistic, their languages they flow with them. And that's what got me here. My dad opened up hotels all over the world for the Regent hotel chain, Germany, Vanuatu, London, Australia, all over, all of Jakarta, right? All over the world. Landed in Hawaii. He thought it was going to Haiti. He didn't care. He goes anywhere. And then he met my mom. My dad was the manager of a hotel, which is now the Marriott in Hawaii. You can Google it. So he's the assistant general manager, and he sees my mom, who was working at a famous restaurant called The Third Floor, where all the celebrities go. Like Elvis was there, gave my dad tickets to Blue Hawaii, like that kind of thing. My dad sees her in the elevator, and he's looking at her. He's like, He said something to her. And he just grabbed her over and kissed her. And it's like, whoa, Dad, you can't do that like nowadays. Like you can't do that nowadays, but back then it was okay. And then they had 4 boys, 4 kids, right? So they're all good. Like it was all legit. That was the last girl he kissed. Was my mom.
Oh man, that's an awesome story, dude.
Yeah, it was a good
Yes,
story.
I'm half Lebanese. My other brother looks like you, Matt. Like straight
Okay.
up. My other brother looks like you.
Oh wow.
So he's a handsome guy, right?
You're gonna have to send a picture and we'll put it on the show notes. Say apparently I look like Jean-Paul's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right, man. Well, dude, we've had a blast catching up with you, man. You're welcome back on the show anytime. Yeah. So the takeaway is, man, Hawaii's ready for go time. Let's make it happen. And if people listening want to get in touch with you, if they want to do some business with you out there, anything you're involved in, go ahead, man. The floor is yours. Give yourself a healthy plug here. Where can people get a hold of you at?
All right. The easiest way to get a hold of me, just go to jeanpaul.com. That's JEAN-PAUL.com. Jeanpaul.com. That's the way to go. It'll actually take you to my YouTube channel, but then I got all my contact info there. But that's the easiest way. My name is Jean-Paul Gedeon. Go to jeanpaul.com. You can find everything. My company name is JPG Media. That's our outdoor advertising company. JPGmedia.com. If you want to go straight to there, and all of our links are there. We're on all social media platforms, having a fun time.
Nice, man.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
I want to give him a hang loose, but I don't want to offend him.
It's called a shaka. Just throw it up.
Is that what it's called? Shaka? Okay, I never knew that.
Yeah, it's a shaka.
Oh, okay. Oh, in California we say hang loose. That's right.
Hang loose. There's a lot of those hats being sold in Waikiki.
Oh, I bet.
Hang loose.
Find us online through social media at AdSymbol, and check out our sponsors Sun Vision Display on all social media, as well as our own YouTube channel. Like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified about all future AdHero podcast premieres. And as always, don't forget to leave a comment or question below and let us know your thoughts. For inquiries and more information about outdoor advertising, visit our site, adsymbol.com. Find the AdHero podcast on all major podcast platforms. Thank you for tuning in to the AdHero podcast. My name is Gio Giovanni.
And I'm Matthew Libieri, and we want to give a massive shout out to Jean-Paul. Thank you for joining us today. Jean-Paul Gedeon, we're signing out.
Want to advertise big and build massive brand authority at the same time? It's easier than you think. Open Display by AdSymbol lets you advertise on digital billboards nationwide. Just go to opendisplay.com for a free account to get started.